morning. Welcome to the Morning Blend. We are here. I am back with the Bohemian Glow.
Welcome back.
Yes, it was a great time. This morning we got the Chancellor, and Chancellor, we're gonna have to assign you a dance for that intro. Everybody's got their little thing going, and Chancellor's
just
watching.
down.
Yeah, he's just looking at each one of us saying, I wish Darian would teach me to do something.
Y'all,
Yeah.
y'all all too young to remember Deputy Dog, but he used to say, I'm happy on the inside. I was dancing on the inside.
Y'all, it is a special day because it is graduation
It is
day
graduation day.
of both adult ed and the community college.
Arguably the
So-
best day.
The
Yeah,
best day of the
academic
year.
Yeah, that's right.
It's my favorite day because, especially the adults ed, these folks have been, you don't measure a person by how they are knocked down, but how they get back up. And life happened for a lot of these folks and, our regular graduates too. So
Yeah.
we always love to celebrate with them. So it's my favorite day of the year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you said, even with the regular graduates, some of them have stories of struggle. I remember my graduation year, it was questionable whether I was going to get out of high school. Seriously. I had a lot of fun in high school.
You got to think, though, they all finished college, so therefore they all had a struggle.
They
So
did.
we made their own struggle.
There
so
you go.
Yes.
They overcame
They did.
and won the
Absolutely.
fight. So yeah.
Speaking of overcoming, I kind of have a fun question of the day
Uh-oh,
that we're
what's
going to
that?
get into before we get into our message for the
Our
graduates.
question of the day.
What 3 things would you want with you if you were stranded on a desert island?
Everybody's being quiet.
Think-
You want me to,
Chancellor.
you want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead. I may
3
steal
things.
one of your
All
answers.
right. You need an axe,
An axe.
An
okay.
axe?
Oh, he's being real with
matches, and a pot to make water, sterilize water.
Okay.
Good.
I like it. Practical.
I forgot about, I thought about water, but I forgot that sterilization part of it. I should have thought of,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so
Because you need unlimited water.
my answer,
Yeah.
sterilized water.
How much, though?
bypass it.
Realistically.
I did have water, but sterilized water, a full charge cell phone, and a cell phone tower.
So you're trying to
I'm trying to get off the island.
You one of those that when a genie says you can have 3 wishes, your last wish is, I wish I had 3 more wishes.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, the fine print won't let you do that.
But there wasn't any fine print.
But see, if it's all 4 of us, if the same question for all 4 of us, that means we're stranded on a desert island. I get 3, you get 3, you get 3, you get 3.
Okay, so we
12
can,
sounds like
We
a
got
party.
12 things, yeah.
Yep, I think we can make it with 12 things. It depends what Ryan is going to bring, though.
Oh, I mean, if it's the 3 wishes, then I'm unlimited food, a charter boat, so I can get off of that thing.
Just a boat.
Yeah, I just need those 2 things. That's all I'm
Or you could have that magic radio from Gilligan's Island where the batteries never go dead.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I'm done. I mean, that's it.
Yeah,
I would
think-
not survive.
That is
Somebody
hilarious.
You're trying to
That's
get
my
off
third
the
one is
island,
somebody
yeah.
come save me, please.
Somebody come, because if you don't know how to operate the boat,
By default, I'm gonna know it.
you
I'll
don't
know it. Yeah, by default.
Okay.
I think I like the radio idea, but instead like a crank radio, so it doesn't need a battery because I got to listen to my tunes. And then we also,
Cannot survive without music.
and then I'd also think I'd go with a weapon, kind of like you. I think like a good knife, like I don't know, some kind of Bowie knife or something would be good. And then
You planning on staying a while?
well, you never know if someone's gonna come get you
Oh
or
yeah,
not.
she's watched Survivor quite a few.
Yeah. There's some qualifiers in that. If I'm stranded for 2 days, it's a different set of things than if I'm stranded for 2 years.
That's true.
Exactly.
That's
That's
true.
exactly right.
So there's a lot of qualifiers in there that we got to consider.
Yeah, because at some point I would need food.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at some point.
Well, that's what my axe is for. See, you can
Go and kill your
Fine.
food.
no, you climb up, you can chop down some coconut trees.
Oh, yeah.
Coconut trees, yeah, they're gonna be there.
Chancellor,
making
you
a lot
might
of
would turn
assumptions.
into a vegetarian.
Uh,
Nope. Nope.
you get hungry enough, you eat anything. I get hungry enough, I'm liable to eat spinach.
Oh wow!
I heard that might not be too good for your digestion.
Hey. I
The way
don't know.
you, the way
I
you
don't know.
talk.
His body would have to adjust, I tell you. All
Oh my
right, so
gosh.
you said today is graduation day.
It
So the
is.
whole theme of the show, y'all, is all things graduation.
Yes.
And so we have the chancellor on this morning, not just to talk about his survivor skills and his Gilligan Island radio, but he has special message for the graduates.
Yep. I think it's the message that I would like for all graduates that walk across the stage to know is that we as the Delta family are tremendously proud that we can be part of your future.
Yes.
And we are so proud that none of your journeys were easy, because we know that there were, things that stood in the way, sometimes many things that stand in your way to completion, but every one of you finished.
Yeah.
And you ensured for you and your family a brighter future. So I think that from myself and from all of the Delta family, the faculty and staff and all employees, we are proud of you. We are grateful that you chose Delta, and welcome to Delta as an alumni.
Now, that's awesome.
Yes.
Chancellor, you used to be an instructor in the classroom. Thinking back on those days, what was one of the standout moments to you in connecting with a student?
When I was at the university, I was the first class teachers took, Introduction to Education, and then I was the last one they took before they went to student teaching.
Oh, wow.
So, there's so many stories. I was just as proud when someone said after my intro class, I didn't know this was what teaching was like. It's not for me. Because one out of 3 classroom teachers leave within the first 5 years.
Okay.
So if, those students that said this is not for me and they did something different, that was really good. But then the student teaching, to see them ready to go. But I think my greatest moment, or the most memorable moment, there's so many, but wasn't as an instructor. I was the TANF coordinator when I was at another community college, and that's temporary assistance to needy families. I was in Walmart one day, me and Luke, my oldest son, and this lady came up and said, Mr. Esters, I was Mr. then, Mr. Esters, you don't remember me, but you helped me in TANF. And she had 2 or 3 little kids with her, and she said, what you did and what TANF did for me allowed me to feed me and my kids, and it made a different life for me. And that was, that was impactful. That's one of
That
those
is.
intrinsic moments where you think, yeah, what I do matters. So,
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I feel like the theme of this year's graduation has been like, it's not the end, it's the beginning to the next chapter. And thinking of it like that, do you have like any advice or just a word of encouragement for those students who are maybe beginning the next chapter and there's some uncertainty there?
The world we live in now is more uncertain probably than I've seen it in my lifetime. And there's some things that you can guarantee failure. You can guarantee your life is going to be tough, and one of those is just to sit back and wait for other people to do things for you.
Yes.
So our students who jumped in and got these degrees and got these credentials, either they got them because they want to go to work, so they have the workforce side or the technical side, or they want to go on to the 4-year and get a 4-year degree and make a difference there. So my advice is, again, I'm gonna repeat, I'm so proud that you all decided to do this, but I think that your choice to be the master of your own destiny was the right choice, because we are not in a world where the folks are going to do things for you.
Yeah, I know. I've heard it said all growing up, don't be a victim in your own life. Don't let life happen to you.
That's right.
You take control of all the things that you can. Some things you can't control, but what you can control.
Yeah. Yeah, my favorite poem and I don't know it all, but I think it's called Invictus, and it starts off out of the night that covers me black as a pit from pole to pole. I curse whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. Anyhow, it goes on to say, I am the master of my fate.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
you know, I just believe that with all of my heart,
Yeah.
that it doesn't matter your starting point, it matters your ending point.
That's it.
There's a lot of folks, doesn't matter who you are, there's folks who depend on you. The world is not just about you, you know. The world is about the people who depend on you, your family, your friends. You know, your actions affect everyone around you. And these graduates that'll be walking the stage tonight, they're going to be happy, but if you want to see pure, unadulterated joy, look at those people's families.
Yeah.
I mean, the celebrations that you hear as they walk across the stage is just incredible. So
Absolutely.
that's always, you know, I just feed off of that. I'm like I don't know, just the positive vibes. I'm not a hippie, but the positive vibes
Yeah.
are just incredible.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, community.
Yep. Yep.
Community, and I think that that's really fitting.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Chancellor.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And we actually have a host of other people coming on today to give a message to the graduates, their own word of encouragement. And we're just so excited about today. Today
Yeah,
is awesome.
Absolutely. So
and
that's
it's gonna
Cameron's
keep
way
us
of
going.
saying, get up, get out of that chair. There's other people we want to hear from.
But we
So, Cameron, yes,
appreciate
ma'am.
you. We
We
appreciate
appreciate
you
you.
warming it for the next person.
Oh,
Absolutely.
my pleasure.
You're a
my
good
pleasure.
chair warmer.
Thank
Have
y'all.
a great day,
Happy
Chancellor.
Monday. And next up, we have Dr. Wendy Tossenson coming to share her message and her words with the graduates. So,
Awesome.
welcome, Dr.
Yay,
Tossenson.
yay, yay. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are y'all?
We are great. Make today amazing. That
That's right.
is
Every
a
day.
Wendy cup.
It is. It's a Wendy cup
Wonderful.
for sure.
Well, first off, I've been out all week, but I hear congratulations are in order.
Yes,
Yay,
thank you,
you.
thank you,
Yay,
thank you.
you. So, Start Here, Go Anywhere doesn't just apply to students, although we have transitioned from that motto, from that tagline, but it doesn't just apply to students. So, big congrats to
Thank
you.
you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Well, I will say this. I believe that the community college raised me. So very similar to our graduates, this is where I have learned everything. And so it's a very full circle moment for me today to recognize that all the things that the college has poured into me and the fact that we have graduation for our graduates today, it's very full circle.
So, in other words, you feel like you have graduated too.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I mean, really and truly,
Yes.
it really
Yes,
is.
It really is. It has been an amazing journey. I think that we often don't recognize the work that we do and how important it is. We'll have people that are going to walk across stage tonight who never thought that they could do this, that just coming to the parking lot was difficult and scary, and that because we had faculty and staff and other students who continued to cheer them on and tell them that they could do it. That's why they're walking across stage today. You can't do anything by yourself. It takes everybody to make it happen, and I think that's what the celebration is so exciting, because the family is there, the friends are there, all of the sleepless nights, the fights that they were having, the struggles that they had, all of the moments, because we all
of 'em.
have those moments. And when you have that moment and then all of a sudden here's the moment,
Yeah.
you don't remember any of the other moments.
Yeah.
You just remember, I did it. And so I think that's what's so powerful about tonight is watching them walk across stage. And at 11 o'clock, we have our adult ed graduation. I think that's very powerful for them to be a part of it at, same setting, and it is their launching point for what they get to do next. So just, yes, incredible day today.
So, looking at your own life and paralleling it with our graduates. So, and for all of those graduates watching this podcast, Dr. Wendy Tossenson is the Vice Chancellor, serves in a Vice Chancellor position here at Louisiana Delta Community College, but has recently been hired to be a president of a whole community college, y'all, in Tennessee. And so, but when people look at you, you just didn't arrive at,
No.
you didn't just arrive even at the vice chancellor
Right.
position, and now all of a sudden you're qualified now for this presidential position. Can you talk about the journey? The chancellor shared, you start about the starting and the finishing, and neither one is really the thing, but alluded to the journey. There are
Sure.
things that happen in between. So
I think it's really important for us all to realize that every day is part of our journey to get us to where we're supposed to go, and all of the failures are to me more important than all of the successes and wins that I have had. 16 years ago, I was a stay-at-home mom, not working. Well, I mean, I was working. I was not getting paid. I was
Yeah.
raising
'Cause
three
that is a
humans.
job.
Yeah.
That
Right,
is
I
a
was
job.
raising 3 humans, and nobody thought that was important for me to get paid for that. And so when I went back into the workforce, I started at a community college, and that's really where I got grounded, and I realized that I loved the mission, and I loved who we are and what we are all about. But I was very lost before I started working at the community college, because my identity really was wrapped up in being a mom. And peanut butter and jelly or macaroni and cheese, what
Yeah.
will keep them from being mad today. And so I would really stress to our graduates that it really isn't about where you are right now. It is about the fact that you took that first step, and now you are ready to take the second step, whatever that second step is, and then
Yeah.
the third step, and then the fourth step. And look back at your journey, but don't allow your look back to keep you there. Keep moving forward, whatever you think that will
that's
be.
good advice.
I never planned to be where I am today. I never planned to be a vice chancellor. I never planned to be a president. I just wanted to be the very best I could be. And along the way, I was not always the very best I could be, but that's what I learned from. And I hope that our graduates can take that and really recognize that this is just their starting point, and now they know that they can. Because really, graduation is all about, I know I can.
Yeah.
I know I can complete something. I know I can do something. I know I can be successful.
And
so what
here's
do
the
I
proof.
do next?
Yeah.
Right. So what do I do next?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think it's important to know too that moving forward doesn't mean that there is the absence of fear
Oh,
or
no.
doubt or uncertainty or even being mistake free, because I mean everybody makes mistakes. I've said this a lot, that in my logical mind I know I'm not perfect, but I swear sometimes when I make mistakes, it shocks me. And I seriously, and I have to say, I know that I'm not perfect. Why do I feel this way? It's because of the way that we wear and perceive failure. It's okay.
I guess I've gotten really good at failure, so I recognize it faster.
Master. Like, that's how I feel. I'm like, I've just mastered this failure thing because I just screw up,
Well, when I moved from financial aid to the registrar's office, the next day I had to put fees out for a new program. I put fees out for the whole entire institution for that one program. And that's a very public mistake, right? And that's how I learned how to take fees off everybody. And so, but I joke about that, but it was a very public mistake. And when you make very public mistakes, at some point you get really okay with making very public mistakes, and then you fix your very public mistake. And I will never put fees out on everybody ever again.
Yeah, you
right?
do
Because
that
I learned
one time.
That's right. And so I want our graduates to know that they're going to make mistakes.
sure.
And that's what you
It's
learn
okay.
from. That's what you embrace. And that's when you take that takeaway and go, okay, we're not
Now
going
I
to do that
know.
one again.
Yep.
Right.
Now I know.
We went down that road. That one's not the good one. Yeah.
Yep.
And when you're making mistakes, that's when you know you are growing. When you stop making mistakes, when you stop having those failures, that means you're not moving forward. And so challenging
Good. I've been
yourself.
moving forward for a while.
Hey, President,
Ditto.
you have been moving forward all the way up. So it's just fantastic to hear. And since you are leaving us, I was just wondering if you had just some words, not necessarily your final words, but just some words to LDCC
So
and
I
our family.
want to thank LDCC for everything. When I say I really grew up here, I really did. This college is incredible. I don't always think everybody here knows how wonderful you are. You have accomplished so many milestones and so many amazing things, even when your future is uncertain or there's change. And so I think that y'all need to recognize the power that you have here as an institution, and the people that you have here are amazing. And I just appreciate the love that I have received. I also appreciate the criticism that I've received. I think that I don't take that lightly, and I think that it's important that we have spaces where you can fail, but you can fail forward. You can learn. You can learn from your mistakes. I have been given enough grace that I recognize I've been given grace, and I just appreciate everything and all the work that you do. And the work is what's really important. The work that you do for our students and the service that you have for the community and for our business and industries. You know, without the work of Louisiana Delta Community College, there would be so many people who wouldn't have a day like today.
Yeah, I agree with that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Y'all have a fabulous graduation day.
Thank you,
All
Dr.
right.
Tostenson. Next up, we have Dean Frank Boone coming on the podcast for the first time ever.
Wait,
And
the
we're
first
so
time.
excited.
This is his first
It
time.
is my first
time
time.
ever.
I watch, but I have not been at the table prior to today.
Well,
So
we're so excited to
Happy
have
Monday.
you.
Lucky. All right. So, I mean, for those of you all who are not aware, Dean Boone has a military background. So I am curious as to what your comments are for graduates, because you come from this very disciplined background, so opposite of me in my experience. I mean, I got to 12th grade and was like, I am failing this one particular class. I don't even know how badly I'm failing. I don't know what it's going to take for me to come out of this failing space, And I did, evidently, because I graduated. But I mean,
Hallelujah.
seriously. But it's a stark comparison as far as when I look at myself and where I was at that space and time. As far as discipline goes, and where I see you now. Now that you may not have always been that person.
Oh no.
And so I mean, I really want you to speak to that, because today you are, and I know you may look at your own life today and figure, there are some areas that you may could tighten up on, but to all the rest of us is like,
You're on top of it.
So let me say this, okay? First of all, we are not who we once were, never, and we will not be who we will be tomorrow, right? It is a journey, and to the graduates, I really want to express my great pride to them for achieving this milestone, but more relevantly, it is a culmination of the achievements and the overcoming of the hurdles that have been in the way. Life throws us curveballs constantly. It threw me one. And as I was thinking this morning about this opportunity to speak to the graduates, I couldn't help but reflect on my own life. And Darian, you just painted a picture of me that is of today, but yesterday and the day before, things were much different. It took me 14 years from start to finish to earn my bachelor's degree, right? And for a long time in my life, that was, to a certain degree, shameful. I didn't really share that with anyone. Why? Well, I mean, there's 100,000 stories that got in the way. There were decisions and pivots that had to be made, many of which were, this isn't for me, or perhaps there's another road I should take, just uncertainty, right? But after you accomplish your goals, you have to reflect on what did that mean? And it meant that I did not give up, right? So for these graduates, each and every one of them, there's something different that got in the way more often than things going your way. And what today culminates as is having overcome all of that. I was thinking about a late friend of mine I had the fortune to know Mr. W.G. Hammond, commonly referred to in the community as Mr. Bill. He was a tall, lanky, old cowboy. They don't build them that way anymore. He had an iconic handlebar mustache, and
Oh,
he had a
excellent.
big, wide
Oh,
brimmed
wow.
hat.
Excellent.
And he dressed to the nines every single day, right?
Wow.
He loved the power of education, and he loved community. And for some reason, he loved me, and I loved him back. And Mr. Bill told me a story one time about a commencement speech that came from Winston Churchill back in 1941. Now, in popular culture, this has been twisted and told many times over, but it all resonates with what Winston said that day. He was asked to come back to the Harrow School for Boys in London in 1941, October. Now, if we think about history, October 1941, I mean, there had been a lot of things going on in the world that were challenging for everyone.
Yeah.
And Winston Churchill had graduated from Harrow School for Boys, and he went to the podium, and he delivered a several-minute speech. But the most iconic piece of that was this: never give in. Never give in. Never, 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 never give in to anything great or small, large or petty, except for one's own convictions to honor and good sense.
Wow, those are some potent words.
They're potent words, but when you really boil it down to the salt in the pot, what does it mean? Don't give up on anything you believe in.
Exactly.
Right? That's it.
Yeah.
And so to the graduates, I say this: congratulations on your journey, on your accomplishments, on reaching this stage in your life. But there was a reason for that. Going forward, there's going to be a reason for you to quit. There's
Yeah.
going to be a reason for
For
you to
sure.
doubt.
Always.
Okay?
Yes.
Doubt will kill any momentum that you may have. And so what do you do in those moments? Well, I want the graduates to reach back to this one or any other one previous where they stepped forward. In the Army, we called it just keep on keeping on. One foot in front of the other is all it takes, right?
Yeah.
And cast that doubt away and to say, not today. Just do not quit.
I like that. I like that.
Very
It's,
powerful.
I mean, because the message really is that simple. In other words, you're saying, make the decision.
That's right. Make the decision. And that decision will come with something to propel them forward. So what better day than like today? Today they are going to step across the stage, and it is a recognition of all of the accomplishments and all of the decisions that led to this moment, right? Yeah, just like me with my 14 years to earn my bachelor's degree, and then I piddled about for a little while, but then I realized that's not it. I need to do something else, and I kept the momentum moving, because if the momentum stops, think about a rock. If it's rolling or a train is moving, no matter how small or, how slow or fast, it's moving.
Yeah.
That's progress. If it comes to a dead stop, however, I can attest to everyone, it is very difficult to overcome inertia.
Yeah.
It's very easy to maintain momentum.
Yes. That's so good. That's so good.
Yeah, very, very powerful stuff. And I also, kind of turning a little more to the students as dean, what with your relationship with the students, can you just describe the pride that you feel on graduation day?
Whew. Well, so you never know what's coming next, and nothing in my life ever directed my. I never knew that I would be here, right? I don't think we ever know where we're going to be until we're there.
Yeah.
And as I started the conversation with the challenges that I was faced with, and yes, I have a military background. The military kind of slapped some sense into me. But these students, each and every one, have a story to tell. And that story should be of their capabilities. And while I'm proud of all of them for owning the moment, right? It's honestly no one else's moment. They need to grab a hold to it, and they need to realize that I did this. Well, and with help, it is necessary to have help. You must surround yourself with a positive sphere of influence, okay?
Right.
But the pride that I feel is that I was once them. I was once them with very difficult challenges to overcome, and oftentimes the easy answer was to simply quit.
Yes.
All right, that's the
yes,
easy answer.
Yes.
And so when I relate to the students at this college, when I relate to the ones that I see in the hallway, and most excitedly the ones that I shake hands with today, and all the commencement ceremonies to come, I see a little bit of myself in each and every one of them, but I also see a little bit of them in me, in that just keep one foot in front of the other and
keep it
see what the world has to offer. Just keep on keeping on and never give up.
That is it. That's a
Beautiful.
great message. Dean Boone, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
willing to share that today.
Absolutely.
Happy Monday, and it's time to celebrate.
He's
Yes,
a
it
real
is.
fan.
Woo-hoo!
He knows our tagline too.
That's
Happy
it.
Monday.
Happy Monday.
Next up, we have Dean Nathan Hall.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
Welcome
morning.
to the table.
Is this your first time on the Morning Blend too?
I believe it is.
Oh,
I believe it
welcome,
is.
welcome.
Yep.
All these new faces today.
I know.
Yeah.
So Dean Boone talked about, just making the decision
Yep.
to keep going
Yep.
and to not quit.
Mhm.
I'm going to ask you,
Yeah.
how does a person overcome feelings of doubt and inadequacy and fear as they're looking to what comes next, especially if they may not know what comes next, or things are not lining up
Yeah.
quite like they expect? How do they overcome
Yeah.
those feelings, emotions,
Yeah.
in order to move forward?
Yeah. There's a saying that fear is a liar, and I think it's one of the things that keeps us from many of our goals, many of our aspirations, is the thought of the unknown. And we make so many decisions of what could be, what might be, what could happen. And when you start doing that, then you start losing out on things that actually could be, because you're so focused on all the negatives that might happen. And I was actually had this verse I was sharing with my kids this morning. It's talking about the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And I was just telling them how important, like the most important thing is that you fear God. Everything else we shouldn't fear. We shouldn't have fear of all these things that happen, that could happen or might happen. And we even talked about it. There's a Bible study we do at the campus, and it was saying that all things work for good for those who love God and are called according to His purpose, and that whatever might happen, you just understand that if when you're focused on Him, that things are going to work out. And I think when you have this want or desire inside your heart to do something, go for it. Don't let anything stand in your way. This is something that you have in your heart that you want to achieve. Don't let it stand in your way. And that's what so many times, and I think about our LPN program. We have people, you might start off with 50 students, end up with 20 or 15, because all these little things in life happen, and there's just a few of them that are just completely dedicated to finishing. And that's what you have to decide in life. Is this what I really want, or will I let something else get in my way? And I was trying to think of what my piece of advice. I have these great speakers that come before me. Like, what would be my piece of advice for graduates? First, congratulations.
Yeah.
But there's something I've shared a couple times in weddings that I've overseen. Have you ever heard the story of the difference between buffaloes and cattle?
No.
No.
So, in the range, or just in when they have a storm come in, and say whenever cattle see it, they start running away from the storm. Whenever buffalo see it, they start running towards the storm. And it says that cattle, when they run away from it, the storm ends up going on top of them for a lot longer period, because they're running away from the storm, so then that storm just keeps moving over them.
Yeah.
So buffaloes, they run towards the storm, and then they end up getting through it quicker because they run towards that hardship.
That's really good.
So many times in our life, I think people run away from hard things, and they
For
end up
sure.
they end up struggling so much longer
Yeah.
because they run away from hard things,
Yeah.
and that can be in education or in having hard conversations, and you run away. Well, I don't want that's gonna be really hard. Run away from it. So then your life ends up being a lot harder because you've run away from that hardship or that trial. And I even think, like, for us, it's like if you'll run towards those hard conversations, and a lot of times your relationship's a lot better because you run through that hard conversation. Or if you run towards that hard thing that you need to do, then you'll take care of it instead of being on top of your head for many years down the line. And so if I can encourage graduates in anything is to run towards the hard things, do the hard things, and might make it be a little easier going forward.
That was,
story.
I mean, that's really a solid piece of advice, and I think that it's so key, especially because this time, this era of time, it's the resounding message when you look across all social media is
Comfort.
do what makes you happy. You know, and I agree with happiness, but happiness isn't the thing. You know, because happiness, you could be happy and be underdeveloped.
Yeah.
You could be happy but be weak.
Yeah.
You could be happy and be lacking.
Yeah.
So running away from difficulty or from challenges doesn't help you evolve to be the best that you can be, which is why, which is the kind of the whole point of your message. When you endure and just push through to get to the other side of things, all of your survival skills are sharpened.
Yeah.
And it makes you more prepared for the next thing. It makes you more equipped for the next thing. A lot of times we lack in relationship, and you touched on that, is because we don't engage because it's hard. We don't engage because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I mean, life is hard and life is uncomfortable, and people, our students who have been here within this safety net of LDCC, it is a little scary because they've gotten used to how things function here. You know, you're, like you said, fear of the unknown. Well, you kind of know how things work here because you've been here. But how things work here may not be how things work out there.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of scary. But when you lean into the skills that you've learned in surviving here and apply them to surviving out there, plus be open to pick up some new skills and not be afraid of failure. I mean, all of the messages that we've discussed so far, I mean, they all knit together so perfectly into this beautiful cloth called life. You know, you take all of those things and then you are able to move forward, failing forward in spite of the fear, the uncertainty, the feeling inferior, even in light of mistakes. I mean, you're able to keep going. And so that was, gosh, I'm glad you made that point, because that was such a solid point and such a relevant point, especially to today's times. And that's, you know, moving across all generations of people. I mean, everybody is all about, you know, well, not everybody, but a lot of the messaging is all about comfort. What makes me happy.
Yeah. I could talk on that subject for a long time, but I don't know if y'all have time for that. No, I think difficulty is good for you, and I'd seen a study on it saying that people who constantly go through difficulty, they live longer, because when it gets time to the end of their life, they've been accustomed to it. So, but anyways, congratulations, graduates, and I look forward to tonight.
Great,
Yes,
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All of these wonderful messages. I mean,
know.
it's so, and everything seems to be building and weaving into one another. So who do we have next?
Absolutely. So we have is Dr. Thomas. Dr. Alvina Thomas is coming on the
All
set.
right now, she is no stranger to this table, so we
No, she is
welcome her
not.
back.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
If
morning.
that microphone is you, I feel free.
Right,
To
I
make
look
an
like
adjustment.
it's.
Yeah, just feel free
We've
to pull
had
it
some
down.
tall
There
people
we
coming
go.
through here, so there we go.
And I have on my rain boots today too, so I'm really short.
Oh yeah,
Vertically challenged.
Yes, yes.
that is the correct term.
Good morning.
Good morning. We're
Great
so
to
glad
have you.
to have
Thank you. This
We-
is an awesome day. Isn't it?
It is, and we've had so many just awesome powerful, impactful messages from our guests today, and we're really excited to hear from you as well, because as the Dean of Student Services, I feel like you impact the students, in such a direct way on the daily, especially through the SGA, and you know them really well. So please just share with us, a word of encouragement that you have for these students walking across the stage today.
Oh, wow. I am honored for you all to even ask me to do this. But this is such a special day, graduation, commencement, rather. And I would say, first of all, that I'm very proud of all of our students and that they persisted. They ran the race. They finished this race. There are other races to run.
Yeah.
But they finished this race. And I want to go back to persistence because in higher education we talk about retention. We want to retain our
Yes.
students
Yes.
and all that. But it's to some of us, it's more about persistence. It's more about their being motivated to continue the race and how we make that motivation happen at Louisiana Delta Community College through our resources, our wraparound services, and just being able to talk to them when they allow us to talk to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because sometimes they come to us and they really don't want to hear what we're saying. They just, I need this, they need it right now. And so, we just have to be careful, to be able to push the word out to them when they're ready to hear it, and ready to say, okay, you're right. I need to do such and such and such and such. So now you've done all of that. You've now crossing the finish line, and you're going on to that next move of your life.
Yeah.
You're being able to, you took that risk. Because I've heard students say, I was afraid to walk through the front door
Yeah.
of Delta.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you was like, Delta, you're afraid to walk through the front door of Delta? Yes, they are.
Wow.
But
Yeah,
they
I
did.
understand that.
Yes, they took the risk. They walked through and they made it through.
So you spoke about persistence. Why is it important for students to persist? Now, this could be further encouragement to our graduates because, as you said, they completed this thing, but there will be other things. So this answer is to them. And it's also to the ones who have not completed this chapter. Why is persistence important, not just in academics, in life?
We have to stay motivated. You're going to encounter different obstacles in life that will maybe deter your motivation, but the motivation is what keeps you going. So I may not have food at my house. I may not have money to pay my bills, and I may, how do I keep going? How do I stay motivated? And for those who can find a way to stay motivated, if it's a higher calling, if it's God, if it's what makes you motivated, if it's that instructor that motivates me to say, you can do this. Okay, try this or try that, giving you different ways to accomplish your goals or at that time to meet your needs. And that is a life. It goes beyond college, as you're saying. It goes beyond your first job. It goes beyond, it's staying motivated to continue that in your mind that, I really can do this, even though I don't have what my needs are not met, but I really can do this. I've seen other people do this. And then listening to stories of others. That's why our stories are so important, because we have been where they are.
Right. We just didn't get here.
right, we just didn't get here. You wanted to give up. And then someone comes to you and say, Orion Pierce comes to you and say, look, let me tell you my story.
Yes, yes. Man, I mean, it's so much to unpack in what you just said, because first you addressed motivating yourself, because that's your first responsibility. The first person responsible for motivating me is me. But you also communicated it's okay to lean into your support systems. It's okay to have support systems. And I think that that's key. And it goes back to something we were discussing prior to you sitting down with Nathan Hall, and that is the mindsets, the current social media messaging that's so prevalent across the thing is, I don't need anybody. It's, it's about me. It's the power of me. I don't need anybody. I can do it on my own. We weren't created to do it on our own. We're not islands. And so I love that you emphasized the importance of reaching out to your support systems, recognizing your support systems, and then leaning into them. And that requires vulnerability. Now, I would love for you to speak to the power of vulnerability as it relates to being able to move forward and to motivate yourself. Why is being vulnerable important? Because it's perceived as a weakness.
Well, it may be perceived as a weakness, but what I would hope now with our graduates, and what we need now are leaders. So we need them to go out, do great things, but we really need some leaders. And so when you look at leadership and leaders, sometimes those leaders have to show a weakness. You say, oh no, you can't never show weakness. You do, because you're human. That's the human side
Right.
of all of us,
Yeah.
to show some weakness. But then what a fantastic thing when you show that and then you're able to overcome it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That shows your strength.
Absolutely.
So you could kind of say, well, it goes kind of both ways. The weakness side, but then the strength of it all to move above the weakness that you feel.
I agree with that. I think it's incredibly courageous, and it requires strength to be vulnerable.
And
I think-
it also speaks to passion too, because passion, and this is a quote from a poet, and I'll have to credit it later, but passion makes you vulnerable, but that's kind of the point
Yeah.
of vulnerability and passion. And I agree with you 100% that vulnerability, it's more courageous and strong of someone to show vulnerability than to refuse to. And as someone, with many leaders in her life, the leaders who do show that vulnerability have the most impact.
Exactly. I remember Kirk Franklin saying one time he realized, Kirk Franklin, if some of you all are not aware of who that is a Christian music, a Christian musician. Kirk Franklin said, he realized after some time and going all around the world and sharing his testimony that it wasn't in what he did that was right, or the things that he didn't do wrong that had the most impact. It was when he shared about his mistakes in life is where he found himself being able to make that connection with people. And so, so as leaders, it's great to share that. As a person who's moving through life, being vulnerable in a safe space, it to me is wisdom, because I'm not going to know the answer. I'm not perfect, and I'm going to reach spaces a lot of times where I don't know. what the answer is. But if I understand that asking for help is a strength, that it's wisdom, that it's empowering, I feel less intimidated or inferior to the person who has the answer. I feel less of those things, and I can push through to be able to ask and get the help that I need. Therefore, I'm motivating my own self in that process. And you do what you can for yourself, but sometimes you do need a village and a community. And I think that, going back to your message, I think that that's such a key message to push out and to keep repeating, because there's so much coming from the other side that says be an individual. You don't need anybody else. You can do it on your own. You do what you can, but you keep yourself open to access your village and to be able to give back into your village. That's community. That's community. You have natural talents and abilities that you've been given, that where you can help people, but people also have those talents and abilities to be able to help you, and we need one another. We're dependent on one another.
Yes, absolutely.
No matter how much messaging is out there about being solo or doing it on your own. It's not you against the world, it's you alone with the world.
Yes. Listen, for Women's History, Darian and I had great conversations. And this is an example to me of my continuous learning. We learn from each other. We had this conversation, and this has stayed on my mind for quite a while. And she said to me, we don't get what we want, Alvina, because we don't ask.
Yep.
It's like, wow, we don't ask. And that stayed with me. And I say that to say, learning continues no matter who you are, what position you have, how old you are. We continuously learn from each other, but we also have to be open to that learning,
Exactly.
open
Exactly.
to hearing.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That is some good stuff. Boy, this is so rich this morning.
Very,
oh my
yes,
goodness.
very rich. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
All right. We so appreciate you coming on and
Thank
sharing
you
your
so much.
pearls of wisdom.
Very
you so
appropriate
much. Thank
neckwear
you.
for the yes, perfect. Thank you so much,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Thomas.
Thank you all for asking me to come on, because I love commencement. This is a great day. Great day at Delta.
Well, we love you coming on anytime and every time, because you always bring such great things with you when you come.
Thank you.
Lots of
Thank you.
experience, lots of years of learning, and thank you for being willing to share that and to be vulnerable and to give that.
Thank you so much.
All righty. Cameron, who do we have next on our list?
We have Gwen Hall, our registrar. I'm wondering if she's in here. I don't think she.
She didn't make it in? Okay,
I don't-
she may
I don't
have
think
got
so.
Well, it's graduation day, so I'm sure that there was plenty
Very
to keep her in her office. But I
Yes.
tell you, gosh, the words have been rich.
Very rich, and I'm just so grateful that we have these amazing people at LDCC that can spread this wisdom, y'all. I just love hearing, from people who've had so many years under their belt of, working here, working in education in general, because the wisdom that they pick up is absolutely invaluable. So
This is an episode that we'll have to go back and watch over and over again. You'll have to cut it up into little segments and
yes,
push those words of wisdom out, because it's been really nice.
It's
Yeah.
been really good.
absolutely. And so we do have a little bit of the rest of the show left. We have a Let Me Tell You, a little bit of history, and a Monday morning motivation. So we are going to get into our Let Me Tell You.
All right.
All right, tell us.
Yeah, tell us, please.
Let me
I'm
tell
so curious.
you.
She's been gone for the
Oh,
last week, so I'm
Look.
so curious as to what she has to tell us.
Look, y'all, I have been sitting out on the deck of the boats all the way at the top, laying
Ooh.
out in the sun. So I've had a lot of time to think about
Ryan, how
all
do you
the
feel
things
about
that
all
we
this?
were going to talk about.
Just dangling that like.
Uh-huh.
Oh, well, look,
Carrot on a
look.
stick.
This one is for the ladies,
Ooh.
all the
Cover
ladies
your
of
ears.
LDCC.
Come on, let me get up for a
It's
second.
not. It's this one isn't for the guys. It's all for the ladies. Let me tell you,
Woo.
July the 25th. Cameron, do you know what's happening July 25th?
I have some idea.
I'm so excited. Ladies, July 25th, right here in this room. Woo woo! We're going to be hosting Cameron's bridal shower. Yes.
So excited.
So excited. It is a lingerie shower. So just put that, pin that date on your calendar.
July 25th.
July 25th. We're going to start at 3 o'clock. We'll be in our summer hours by then.
Yep.
No, I said 3 o'clock. It's 3:30 because we're in summer hours. So 3:30 to 5. So put that on your calendar because you will definitely want to be here for that. Now, I'm going to tell you, for those of you all who may not know me all that well,
Y'all, let's
If
just
you're
say
a little
I'm a little
sensitive-
nervous.
if you're a little sensitive or a little shy, I don't know. You might want to call me and talk to me first about coming, because, if you get embarrassed real easily, this might not be the place for you. It's like going to the adult comedy shows on the cruise. They say, if you get offended easily and if you do that, you better leave now because, this show is going to be all that.
And it is a
So,
bridal shower
It
after
is
all.
a bridal shower. So if you want to have a good time, I suggest you come.
And all the LDCC ladies are invited because I
Yes.
love all of you. And I'm getting married and I want to celebrate with everybody.
Yes. We are excited for Cameron.
And I got my bride squad and to back me up, my work bride squad. so
Yes.
I'm excited.
We will be here and present for the affair. Woo! All right, y'all. So that was let me tell you.
Juicy. All right, you can uncover your ears,
done
Ryan.
told you. Okay, Ryan, you can join us again.
Yep, you're welcome back.
Although we didn't kick you out,
The
but
hen
you
party is
chose
over.
to you
Well,
chose to run
y'all
out.
told me to cover my ears. So that was the right thing to do.
Okay, so in light of today being graduation day, I thought it very appropriate to go back and look at who was the youngest person to graduate from college.
Oh,
Okay.
wait, is this a little bit of history?
This is a little bit of history.
Oh. Oh, my God.
The segue.
That was so smooth.
It was maybe the smoothest one ever.
You went right into that. All right.
Sure did. Just sailing, cruising. I'm still on cruise mode. Cruising.
We can tell.
Okay. So there was a list of when I looked to see who was the youngest person on record to graduate. There was a list of like the top 8. Just out of curiosity, what age would you guess is the youngest person? The youngest person was to graduate college. Y'all
Graduate
who are
college.
watching live right now, throw it in the chat. What age? And don't go and Google.
My guess
Too
is
late.
going to be 16.
Okay, Ryan, what would you say?
Youngest person to graduate college.
College.
11.
Close.
Oh.
10 years old.
What?
Michael Kearney graduated at the age of 10 in 1994 with a bachelor's degree in anthropology from the University of South
Anthropology?
Alabama. Most
sitting here
10-year-olds
like-
cannot even spell anthropology.
Yes.
So he was born in Honolulu, Hawaii, and he was homeschooled by his mother.
Now, hold on a second. Time out. Here's the question. Youngest person to graduate college. Are they not accounting for associate degrees in this study? Because,
Bachelor's.
we are college, too. I just wanted to, for anybody that's out there that's questioning that, right? I know we're all fans of LDCC that are watching, but I'm just saying I take issue with that study. Go ahead.
I think that this is I think they're looking at bachelor's degrees. But I do recall in the top the top 8, I do recall them mentioning associate degrees.
Okay. Nice.
Okay, so Ryan, don't feel too insulted.
I'm telling you.
Okay,
Let's go.
so Michael was born in
Anthropology, y'all.
Honolulu.
Oh wow.
Sorry.
I've been moving
us
away
off
from all this
track.
shade over there. Okay, where he was homeschooled by his mother. He was diagnosed with ADHD, but that did not hold him back. Seemed like he channeled all of that energy into learning. He started reading, get this, at 10 months old.
No. What?
Most kids aren't even forming words real well.
10
They
months.
can't
At
even
10
pick.
months.
They barely pick their
Let
heads up. I
alone-
mean, jeez.
Let alone reading. He was reading when he was 10 months old. And he completed his high school education in the record time of 1 year. Y'all, his high school education. Like, not 1 year of it. His whole 4
4
year
years into 1 year.
education in 1 year. And he was 6.
6 years old?
He was 6 years old. I mean, can you even believe this?
No, I can barely believe it.
6.
He went on to earn his bachelor's degree in anthropology in 1994, followed by 2 master's degrees. He earned a master's degree in chemistry from Middle Tennessee State University when he was 14,
Oh my gosh.
and a master's degree in computer science from Vanderbilt University when he was 18. Wow. He continued studying further and earned his doctorate in chemistry 4 years later from Middle Tennessee.
Those are like the hardest subjects too. That is
Is this real?
wow. Is it real?
I think you're making
Yes,
this
no,
up.
it's really real. Interesting fact about Michael is that he was thrust back into the spotlight when he won the grand prize of $1 million in 2006 in the trivia and puzzle game show Gold Rush.
Wow.
Now, number 7 I thought was interesting on that list. Her name is Aaliyah Saber. She graduated at 14 in 2003 with a bachelor's degree in applied mathematics from Stony Brook University. The interesting thing about her, she didn't even complete elementary school before she attended college at Stony Brook University at only 10 years old.
Wow.
She would earn her bachelor's and graduate summa cum laude with a degree in applied mathematics in 2003 at only 14 years old.
Snaps for her.
In 2006, by the time she was 17, Saber received her master's in material science and engineering from Drexel and was awarded the 2007 Dean Fellowship. 3 days before her 19th birthday on February 19, 2008, she attained the position of lecturer in the Department of Advanced Technology Fusion at Konkuk University in Seoul. This earned her a spot in the Guinness World Record for the youngest professor, a record she still holds to date.
Oh my gosh.
Look at this. She took Taekwondo. She's a black belt in Taekwondo.
Oh my
All
gosh.
around.
She
Yeah.
took that up because she wanted to protect herself from bullies in high school and college. This chick was thinking ahead.
Yes, she was.
So, when I was reading about these, definitely special students, I thought, man, because right now, I have a granddaughter who's 4, and
Thinking
she'll
about
be
putting her in
5.
Taekwondo?
She'll be 5 this summer. But Amara's been reading for a minute, and she's going to be tested for gifted. And so I was having the discussion with my daughter about the pros and cons of
Accelerating
her,
education.
Of accelerating her education. And because my daughter was that way. I mean, she started, a year early, and I never, we never had to motivate her in learning. I mean, she was driven, within herself, but we also noticed some downsides of that, as she got older. Because when you are high achieving, there's a pressure that you put on yourself and a pressure that you can perceive others are putting on you, and then there could really be the expectation of others that you're going to continue to do well, which is that revolving cycle.
Yeah.
And so I wondered I wonder how these kids were impacted later in life, because they're moving through at such an accelerated rate academically, but what about socially? And emotionally, you think they have to be lacking in those areas, because when do they have time to just be a kid?
Right.
Yeah, if you're reading at 10 months old, I can't see how much fun you're going to have playing jacks or kicking the ball around,
Different
unless
kind of
you're,
fun.
unless you're figuring out, scientific equations, about the whatever. That's not my area, but but this girl Aaliyah Saber did say that cramming all of those achievements in such a short space of time doesn't always leave room to grow as a person. She said she thinks there's often a transition period for people like her who do a lot of things very early. For a long time, everything you do is solely special by virtue of age. Inevitably, or so you hope, you grow up and become just a regular adult. I can imagine that that's a journey that, challenging. That could be a challenging journey for them, because all the other things that kids have learned about being a kid and developing, they probably sped by all of that, and then have to catch it on the backside.
Right.
And it's things that we take for granted, just like when we were talking about earlier about difficulties and moving through difficulties, and how, some things are just part of the journey. And so, like I said, they skip through those things early, and probably as an adult, may have a hard time blending, because they didn't develop, at the same rate in those other areas as other people.
I don't know. You think if they're that smart that at some point maybe they'll pick up a book, on socialization and whatnot. You never know. I mean,
Yeah.
and also just your experiences that you go through, you'll figure it out. I feel like you'll just figure it out. Just may be a little delayed, like you said, but
I don't know. I had a cousin who was homeschooled, and when she started college at Tech, she was so shell shocked, because she said she didn't realize, there were so many social cues that she missed and didn't learn, and she felt so awkward, and it made her shy and reserved, because she realized the things that she didn't know, and the things that she didn't pick up. So she just felt more reserved, and
What's interesting about these kid geniuses, you got to ask yourself, where are they now? Now, obviously there's one that's a professor, probably still a professor, but some of these others that just took the fast track. You wonder, how are they and what are they doing with themselves now?
Yeah, I wondered about that. Aaliyah, at the time that this article was written, was a professor. I think I read later that she took a research job with another company after this. So I think that that's where she is now. This other guy is I think he's an instructor.
It also makes you wonder what it's kind of like not what's most important, but you just got to ask the question. Where are we putting our emphasis in? Is it more important to achieve quickly, or more important to be properly socialized? I'm assuming the answer is a combination
It has to
of
be
both.
a balance.
But that is an interesting consideration to think about.
Yeah, but you think of people who, because you have people who fall on the other side of that. You look at any of your big-time comedians, they excelled on the social side and far less on the academic side typically. And so there is some catching up that they have to encounter too as an adult, because they didn't go through the journey of honing through and their skill sets on the other
Right.
side. So I agree with you. I think that there is a balance.
And it also, I think about athletes too, who made it to the professional and have a huge career and everything, but you can't be an athlete forever. And so what's next? What's after that? So it's just
Sports
kinda,
commentating.
welcome to
a
LDCC
lot of them
Sports.
are doing a lot of them are doing that now.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, it's just when it comes, it's like, okay, they stay in sports, but it's always good to have that balance of gifts and skills in your life so that you do have a fallback when it comes to that.
Man,
kind of
Shaquille
thing.
O'Neal is knocking it out of the ballpark on that. I mean, because he went full entrepreneur, in his post-athletic life.
There is money to be made for
Yes.
sure, and he has made it.
Yes, he's on all the cruise ships.
But even
commercials.
more locally, Karl Malone. I mean, over in
Yeah,
wrestling.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
Very
Karl
good
Malone.
businessman.
Yeah.
He
Absolutely.
may not be on all the commercials that Shaq is on, but he's definitely.
I mean, was Shaq? What did he buy? He bought a pizza company, and I think he's doing
He's
something
all
with
over
Carnival Cruise
everything.
Line. Because every time we were in our cabin for any length of time and had the television on that cruise ship channel, Shaq was all over it, and and he owns some movie theaters. I mean, he
He's got a lot of irons in the fire.
he really does. But as you say, as you said, so does Karl Malone. I mean, they made their money work for them.
Yes. Yep.
So now they're able to sit back and, I don't know how much chilling Shaq is doing. Seems like he's still working hard. He's just working a different way. But Karl Malone, I don't see him out very publicly, so he may really be chilling. Maybe on one of those Carnival cruises.
We have this video queued up.
Yes.
Did you want to play it?
Yes,
Okay.
this is Aaliyah Saber.
We've all seen those bumper stickers that proudly boast, "My child's an honor student." Well, for the mom of Aliyah Saber, it might read, "My kid's a college professor." You see, at the age of 18, Saber was officially recognized as the youngest college professor in history, breaking a 300-year-old record. And as NBC's Martin Savage now reports, calling her an overachiever might be putting it mildly.
Like most teens her age, Aliyah Saber can be found on a college campus. Unlike most teens, she's here to teach.
Is she a good teacher?
Yes, she is. She's a wonderful teacher. The first questions we was asking is, how did you do it so quick?
Actually, Saber's whole life has been in fast forward. She started talking and reading when she was just 8 months old, finished the curriculum for elementary school at 5, started college at 10, graduated summa cum laude at 14, and got her doctorate at 16. She's also a black belt in Taekwondo and made her first orchestral concerto debut at 11 on the clarinet. Now she's just been named the youngest college professor in the world,
Are we okay? Should I go over anything?
breaking the record set by this guy, 19-year-old Colin McLaren, back in 1717. At first, Saber was a bit shy about it.
And I thought to myself, you know what? It's been 300 years. Somebody had to do it. Why not me?
You go, girl.
Yeah.
This young prodigy admits she's not good at everything, like basketball. She loves celebrity gossip websites, and by her own admission, can be absent-minded.
The youngest professor in the world is kind of ditzy sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I am.
But Saber also likes to help others, which is why right now she's here at Southern University in New Orleans, a historically black college ravaged by Hurricane Katrina.
Some people come and they do Habitat for Humanity and they build houses, but I don't think I would be very good at that. So I try to do what I'm good at.
So she came to teach, and in doing so, the world's youngest professor says she has learned a lot. For today, Martin Savage, NBC News, New Orleans.
Aliyah Saber, good morning.
Good morning.
And to add to your accomplishments, you actually were on the Today Show. This is your second appearance because you were on the Today Show in 2003, and so here you are, just 19 years old, making a second appearance. It's pretty remarkable, all you've done. In fact, I was just hearing in Martin Savage's voice, I mean, he is obviously so impressed with you. How do you kind of sort of see yourself, given how it's clear that people on the outside are looking at you as being something quite special?
Well, I know that what I've done is special, and I I think about it, but sometimes I forget because I'm used to it, and I don't think about it all the time. And actually, sometimes it takes other people to remind me a little bit.
Well, why did you decide? I mean, to sort of be an accomplished young person, starting to read when you were 8 months old, going from 4th grade straight to college. I mean, that's one thing, to be smart enough to do all of those things. But then to decide at a very young age to be a college professor is completely hard to understand. So what made you decide to go and be a teacher?
Well, it was a couple of factors. First of all, I really enjoy teaching. And it's something where you can make a difference. It's not just what you can do, but you can enable a lot of other people to make changes, to make their changes. And also, I was particularly interested at this university because they are still in trailers after Hurricane Katrina. And I thought that it would be something that I could do to help.
You teach math and you teach physics, and you've written things, research publications, research papers with titles like "On the Near Field Electromagnetic Scattering from Functionalized Silicon Nanocones and Nanowires." So, okay, I'm impressed. But what is it that you talk about this lovely thing, this idea of helping people and also having the smarts to do something really maybe important. How do you see this coming together as you get older? What is it that you want to accomplish?
Well, that's a really good question. I'm really, like I said, I have the research that I'm doing, and I really feel like I can help a lot of people with that. And I have my music, and I can...
You're a clarinet player.
I'm a clarinetist.
And you love that because it gives you sort of a way to touch people emotionally with your music.
You can reach a lot of people with music, and it's never been really a hobby to me. It's always been on equal par with my academics, but I really feel like I had a student tell me recently that my story was very inspiring and motivating, and that I should really talk to people and share what I've done and bring like math and science in a better way to people. And I'm really interested in like speaking and writing. I don't know, like a book or something. And I mean, I don't know how you do those things, but I would like to do them.
It sounds like you're just beginning, and all of that is ahead of you. And I don't see why you can't do any of those things. I really wish you would help us find a cure for cancer and all those things with your brain that you've got.
I'm working on it.
Go! Don't stop. Keep going. Thank you so much for joining us.
Incredible.
Wow.
That video, it looks old, and that's because it is. It's like 9 years old. That was done in 2015.
Okay.
But, I mean, gosh. The title of that research paper, I'm like, what?
Literally, like, didn't understand a word.
I mean, it's still inconceivable to me that, a baby. I mean, 8 months old, 10 months old is a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And you're reading? I mean, that is...
Can't even imagine.
Such achievement. I wonder how that segues into the next segment.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Monday morning motivation.
All right, so this Monday morning motivation really is a compilation of all of the messaging we've heard earlier this morning from all of our speakers. It's Make It Make Sense Monday.
Oh.
Make it make sense,
I feel like I've heard that phrase before.
Yeah.
Like on some social media comedy, something or the other.
I mean, it's a phrase that people say often,
Yeah.
when they don't understand something or when they're flabbergasted at the gall of something. Please make it make sense.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to take it from a different angle, though. A lot of times we hear things and immediately we lend our emotions to it. Emotions of whatever sort. We lend our emotions to it. And sometimes that's not such a good thing because our emotions immediately help us to shape how we think about it and we're judging it from how we feel about it. But feelings aren't everything, and in this such emotionally charged social climate in which we all live and have to thrive in, I want us to step back this week from our emotions use them purely as indicators and not the full message. And make things make sense to you, logical sense, not emotional sense, because we typically engage first with our emotions. Make it make sense logically. Ask yourself logical questions. One, why does this matter to me? Why should this matter to me? Why is this important to me? What does this mean? Why should I care? What do I need to do about it? Is there anything I need to do about it? Because answering those questions intellectually helps you to position where you put your emotions or how you put your emotions on those things. Or if you should. Some things aren't worthwhile. Some things may be. But I guarantee you, when you stop and challenge how you're thinking about something and what you need to do with that information, it probably will look different emotionally on the back end of that scrutiny versus the front end of the reception of the message. So that's our Make It Make Sense Monday. Don't be a garbage can. Don't be a sponge to absorb all the things, because things can weigh you down. Mm-hmm. And if you're feeling heavy and can't figure out why, think about what you've heard, what you've input, where you've placed your emotions. If you're feeling a little stressed or tense, think about those things and figure out, where did you allow things to be dumped on you without processing, whether you take it in or whether you push it away, or what exactly you need to do with what you've heard or what you've taken in. So Make It Make Sense Monday. That's a challenge to all of us. Yep.
Hashtag make it make sense.
Yeah,
Make it make
absolutely.
sense.
I've only heard that phrase in frustrating situations where somebody is in an argument and they're like, make it make sense. Just make it make sense. So I like that twist on it too, especially just reflect on what are you taking in? What are you allowing to happen around you or allowing to affect you, and just taking back control over that. So
Yep.
Awesome. Y'all, it has been a happy Monday.
It's been such a rich Monday.
Yes, and we have a long Monday ahead of us with our graduation festivities. So I am really excited to get these students across the stage and they can enjoy their summer of achievement.
And hopefully we'll see all of our faculty and staff hanging out tonight. It's going to be the culmination of a great semester. So we're hoping to see you there.
Absolutely. Everybody have a fantastic Monday.
Yeah. A fantastic week, and we'll see you next week on the Morning Blend.
Oh, sorry. That is me.
Y'all make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense.